Welcome to Coming Out of the Spiritual Closet with your host, me, Brittany Wittig. Join me every week to explore and demystify the world of modern spirituality. So today I want to talk about time in relation to spirituality and mindfulness. I think that an understanding of time in spirituality kind of lays down a foundation to understand a lot of the other concepts and branches of spirituality. So, what the heck is going on with time? I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, but time feels really different in different situations. Sometimes time feels so fast, like it's just boom, 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 it's gone. And sometimes it feels like time just lags and takes forever. And early in my spiritual journey, I started wondering about these differing perceptions of time. Why does time feel so different depending on the situation? And I started to do some research and read and try and figure out more about time. One of the places where time felt really challenging for me was meditation. You know, when I first started meditating, I would set an alarm and it just felt like it was taking so long, like I could not meditate for 10 minutes. So I did some research. Pretty early on, I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. I'll put it in the show notes. Eckhart Tolle finally gave me an explanation of time that explained a lot. And that explanation is that the past and the future only exist in our minds, and that this moment right now, this exact moment, is the only true reality. If you've never heard this concept before, you might be having your mind blown right now. It definitely blew my mind. So I'm just going to go through that one more time. The past and the future only exist in our minds, in our imaginations. The only real moment is right now. This is the only moment you can touch, taste, smell, see. This is the only moment you are physically capable of accessing, right? And this concept just resonated with me so intensely when I read it. It was like, oh, okay, yes, that makes sense. That explains so much. Up until that point, one of my favorite sayings was, love this moment. This moment is your life. So that already felt true to me on some level. But then when I had it laid out like that, and I started thinking about, right, yeah, the future is just something I'm imagining. And even the past, it's a memory, which, again, is something I'm imagining in my mind. But right now, this moment is very real. This moment now is reality. And now. And now. You see where I'm going with this? This concept is actually the foundation of most, if not all, spiritual practices. It is the foundation of mindfulness and presence. So I'm sure you've heard of mindfulness and presence. They've become very popular, those concepts. Mindfulness is being present. Being present is being in this present moment, being in the now. So here we're going to take it a step further. If now, this moment right now, is the only true reality, then all of the now moments are happening all at once, but our brains can only perceive one now moment at a time. So our brains allow us to perceive one moment at a time. But if it's always right now, then everything's happening at once. And I realize that this is very confusing. It's a very difficult thing to wrap your mind around. So a metaphor that I use for this that has been extremely helpful for me is to imagine a giant poster board and all of the moments of your life from birth to death are laid out on this poster board. Now imagine that we turn the lights off in the room and someone is shining a flashlight on this moment of your life. They move the flashlight moment to moment. The moment that is illuminated by the flashlight is right now. It's all that you can perceive, right? But it doesn't mean that all of those other moments don't actually exist at the same time. You just can't perceive them all at once. And what I love about this concept of time, this idea about time, is that if all of the now moments are happening all at once, if all of time is actually happening all at once, then it makes sense that we could train our minds to perceive other now moments. It helps explain so many spiritual gifts that people have, like extreme intuition, clairvoyance, psychic visions, prophetic dreams. These all can be explained by this concept of time because it means that either someone has trained their mind to be able to perceive more than one now moment, or I think in some cases, sometimes our mind does it. I mean, how many of us, probably everyone here listening, has had the experience of thinking about someone and then 2 minutes later that person calls and you have an important conversation with them. It's like your mind in that instance was able to perceive another moment, another now moment that was happening at the same time, but normally you wouldn't be able to perceive. So I love the implications of this. I love that it helps explain psychic abilities, intuition, those kinds of experiences that most all of us have had. And I also love the idea that you can actually train your brain to be better at this. You can train your mind to get better at this. So what do you do with this information, right? So you want to get present as much as possible because now you know that the present moment is your life, is your reality. When you're living in the past or, obsessing about the future, you're actually missing out on your real life, which is happening at this moment. If you find yourself constantly trying to escape the present, then you have two options. You either look around at this now moment and say, I can make a change. I can do something different. In this moment, I have the ability to make a change. Or you look around and you say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do to change this. So you accept it. Because if there's nothing you can do to change it, there's no point in driving yourself crazy resisting it. Resisting your now moment, that is actually where pain and suffering come from. Because every single now moment, you have the ability to make a change or accept it. Now, of course, some moments it's really easy to accept it because some moments feel great and are fun and lovely. But in the difficult moments, there's no point in resisting what's happening if you can't make a change. You're much better off just saying, okay, I accept that I can't change anything right now. In the moments going forward, you can see if you can make a change. I love how empowering this is. When you focus in on the now, on the present moment, then life becomes so manageable. Because if all you need to focus on is this moment, then that's simple. You have three options. Either you like this moment or you don't like this moment, and then either you accept it or you make a change. It really simplifies life in this kind of profound way, and it gives you all the power in your own life. And getting into the habit of checking in with yourself in the now and noticing these options that you have in the now throughout your day will just open so many doors for you. It's incredible what this opens up and what you begin to realize about what you actually want and what you actually can accept and what you actually don't want to accept. To get started with this, it can be a little overwhelming if you're not used to getting present. How do you get present? If you're used to constantly thinking about the future, stressing about the future, or if you spend a lot of your time reminiscing about the past, you might not know how to get present. So a simple exercise for this is to, and you can do this anywhere you are. I mean, you can do this at work. Simply take a deep breath in, count to 4, hold it for 2, and then breathe out and count to 6. Do that 3 times, and as you're doing that, focus on how it feels in your body. Focus on the way it feels to breathe in, the way it feels to breathe out. Focus on how your body feels in that moment. And here's the thing. When you are doing that, when you're focusing on your body, you are present. It is impossible for you not to be present in the now moment when you are focusing on how your body feels as you breathe. It's a simple trick to get you back into the present moment. And then once you're in the present moment, you can do this little exercise. Okay, do I like this moment? Is this what I want this moment to be? Okay, it's not. Well, can I change it? Yes, okay, then I'll change it. No, I can't change it. Okay, well then I'm going to accept it, because if there's nothing I can change right now, then there's no point in resisting it. That's the basic connection between time and mindfulness, and time and presence. I hope you found this helpful. It's a really good foundation for all of the rest of the concepts we will go into in future episodes. I absolutely love playing around with the idea of time. I am going to put a few resources down in the show notes. One awesome film that deals with the concept of time is The Arrival. If you've seen that movie, then you probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it, because it's one of the greatest portrayals of time not actually being linear. And I think they do a great job of showing that we can be experiencing time in a linear way, even when it's not actually linear. It's a really, really cool film. And then I will put The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle into the notes as well. And that is one of the best spiritual texts to start with if you're early in your spiritual journey. It is very illuminating. All right, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It's super helpful. And I will see you next time.